I'm pleased to say I'm joined by the newly crowned Grand Slam of Darts champion, Michael Smith. Thanks for the time, Michael. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Still soaking it up, but everything's good.
Yeah, still soaking it up. It's been a little over a week and a half now since you ended your wait for a first major title in the PDC, winning the Grand Slam, lifting the Eric Bristow Trophy in Wolverhampton. What have the last 10 days been like, your first days as a major champion?
I didn't really get time to enjoy it, especially with the Players' Champs right around the corner. But I can't even say I had a shocker that I know I got beat first game, but still had a 99 average, lost 6-5. But yeah, now it's over and I've got a couple of weeks till the Worlds. It's starting to feel better because now I can reflect on it a lot more. That's why I'm practicing and stuff like that, just thinking I finally got one. There's no more what if. I finally got it now, so it's been helping me a lot now.
And obviously you've got the trophy back home as well. How often do you go and have a look at it and think, yeah, this is mine?
I haven't got it. Actually, I've got the small one. The big one, I actually took it to my mum's pub where I practice. So, people have been coming in and getting pictures of it and stuff. So I'll see if I go to practice, but it's in the office now. So when someone comes in and asks for the picture, they get it. But yeah, I'll let them have it for probably till the World Champs start, and then I'll bring it home then and put it where it belongs.
Well, we'll come back to the Grand Slam later, but let's circle back to when we last had you on the show. It was at the start of the season, just before the Masters, and you weren't yet confirmed for the Premier League, but you did get that recall, and it was the first year that we've had the new format. What was the general reaction in the back room among the players in those first few weeks with that new format?
I liked it. I don't really speak to players when I'm there. There's a couple, Johnny and Joe, who I got on well with. We all loved it. And I think it was great. I know it worked out weird sometimes. I could play Van Gogh in its semis 6-7 weeks on the spin. If you win your first game, but it's only 8 plays, you might get that. You can't mix it up so much. But it is good you don't just practice for 3-4 hours for one game and then go home. You can actually be there all night and bag yourself 10 grand as well for the night. So it was good. I enjoyed it, and hopefully I'm in it again next year to do it again.
Yeah, I think you've got a good chance of getting back in it next year. And the first major of the season, that followed soon after with the UK Open. You threw a 9-darter on the way to making it through to the final day, and you started that Sunday with a win against Gerwyn Price. How were you feeling going into the final session on that Sunday night in Minehead?
I felt great, and then I think when I played, I think it was Keane Barry in the semis, I didn't think I had anything in me. I was knackered. I think I was 6-2 down or 6-3 down. 6-2 wasn't, then I reeled off the next 8 legs playing unreal. And then, I got to the final, and I think you seen what happened. There was just nothing left in the tank. I was nervous, and it turned into a scrappy game, which it shouldn't have been. But that was in the past now, and then just got to look forward to the next few events.
Yeah, you lost out in the final in a decider, but a few days later you're making another final, this time one of the nights in the Premier League, and Michael Van Gerwen, he said afterwards, it's only a matter of time before you win that major, simple as that. And you went on to win some more titles on the floor, and that kick-started an impressive run. You won the last night of the Premier League, a Euro Tour, the US Darts Masters in New York. We'll touch on that Euro Tour to begin with, because that was in the Netherlands. You beat Danny Noppert in a decider in that final against his home crowd. How much did that win mean to you?
Yeah, it meant a lot, especially on the Thursday night winning in Newcastle, because I was the only one on a 0 in the Premier League for night wins, so they took the monkey off my back. And then I went to Amsterdam. I think I played 3 or 4 Dutch people on the way, so I had a decent crowd always with on my side. But yes, and I went to a last leg shoot. I was he's not doing it again. Not in a cut space of a couple of weeks, not doing it again. And I just put my foot down, a couple of 140s, and applied the pressure to him. And luckily enough, I needed the 1 dart to finish it this time.
And then the following weekend, you add to your collection of World Series titles, winning at Madison Square Garden. That was an event which has been a long time in the making for a few years. What did you think of New York?
I loved the venue. It was iconic being in Madison Square Garden, just thinking about people who'd been there. But I'm not a city person. New York's not for me. It might be for other people. I don't think I liked it. It's too fast paced, too busy. I'm just more of a country person where I like walking at my own pace, not being rushed. But apart from that, it was amazing to be there. It was a really good experience, and hopefully I get to defend it next year. And it went on the mantelpiece nice out, and just got me settled a bit more in the year, especially losing the Worlds and then the UK, and then finally to lift the first TV title of the year, not the ranked major, but it was the first TV title of the year. Kind of settled me in for the rest of the year then.
Yeah, there's been plenty of titles coming your way. That one, you had another one on the floor that made it 5 for the year, which was already a personal best for you in terms of senior PDC titles. Did you think then it was only a matter of time before you got over the line in a major as well?
Yeah, I think I did 6 nights on the road, 6 events on the road where I won. Like 3 plays on the spin, the European Madison, and the night at the Prem. So it was like, at the minute, I was the best player in the world at that for the 4 or 5 weeks. No one was getting close to me. And then it had a dip, as they always do when it's coming up to the World Cup, the Grand Prix in the World Cup. I was like, you can't do this now. And then, I made another final. I was like, no, my game's still learning. It's coming. Just don't try and rush it. Don't get, disheartened or angry with yourself. Just keep focused and you eventually get it. And luckily enough, it did.
And it almost came in the major just before the European Championship, a third major final of the year. Some big performances in there. The game against Josh Rock, winning it on the ball with the 1-2-1, beating Luke Humphreys, Dirk van Dijvenbode, but meeting Ross Smith in the final, who played out of his skin in that game. And you said yourself afterwards, I've just got to keep going. There's not much I did wrong in that final. But how did you keep that belief going when some others might have started to think it might never happen?
If you ask my wife, I'm blessed with forgetting things very easily. She can tell me something I can forget within 30 seconds. Yeah, after when I played Ross, I had 102, 103 average. There's not much more. Obviously, I can average 110 plus. But you're in a final, and for 4 legs of left tops, he's checked out 2 1-2-1s, a 1-2-4, and a 1-3-3. And he beat me 11-9, was it, or 11-8? That could have been easily 11-7 to me if it would have missed them, but just gotta forget about it. And I've been there 8 times previously, and I've lost in 8 finals. It's not like it was my first, and you think, no, what, I'm happy to be here. Second, you think now it's becoming a thing. Third one, you think he's taking the piss now, and you get beat in his final. Yeah, you just gotta keep believing you do. And I've been in 5 finals from 2021 to 2022. I've been in 4. So obviously some of it was right, and I kept believing that I will. Once I get that next chance at winning double, I'm not going to miss it. And best history now.
Yeah, the major finally comes at the Grand Slam, one of your favourite tournaments you've said in the past as well. And I've got to start with that quarter final against Joe Cullen, 15-13 down. You win the last 3 legs to pinch it 16-15, winning legs in 15-11 and 15. The 2 15 darters, you only had 1 dart at a double, and you took both of those chances. How much confidence do you take away from a game closing out here like that?
I know, I seen Joe's reaction after the game. He was obviously disappointed that he lost, but I was trying to tell myself, even at 15-13, Joe should never been in that position. It was my own doing why he's there. And I was like, all you've got to do now, it's your dad, you only have to break him once. Just play perfect golf. A par putt on my throw and a birdie on his. Went out in 15 for the par, and then sub 12, which gave me the birdie. I knew if I broke him to a 15 all, I'd won the match. Because I think was it my dad? He did 2 180s, 15-13. He thought, if I can check out here now, we'll go, and then I'll be on the up then, because I know I've got him. And he hit a 2, and then I checked out 64 or something, or 80. It was somewhat weird. And then his throw went out in 11. I thought, he'll go now. Just got to keep going. And then I kicked off with a 1-2-5 and a 1-40. I thought, you absolute beauty. So I timed my thing to be fair. I didn't mean to do it, but it looked like I timed it to the absolute inch, because I knew if I lost, I was out. But I just started to play perfect darts. Yeah,
you couldn't have timed it any better. And the final day on the Sunday, you get past Raymond van Barneveld 16-12, just the 17 180s in that game, and against Nathan Aspinall you run away with it, winning 16-5, and at 10-5 you win that next session 5-0, go off stage 15-5 up. What were those few minutes break like, knowing you were on the cusp of that first major? You could almost touch it.
Yeah, I went off with goosebumps, stand up on your arms, and then I saw him getting angry with himself because he went off before me, and then he started head down, biting his top and everything, and he just slumped in his chair, and I was like, why, you 15-5 up, you can't even piss this up. There's no way you can miss it. And I was like, and then he missed 3 darts, a double 10, I think, and double 5. I was like, you know what, just get this one. You got 56, you're not missing tops. I think every time I'd left to finish, he went in. I was like, you're not missing this. And that double top went straight in the middle. if I would have missed that first start, I might have started thinking then, oh, I'm going to miss again. But yeah, went straight in. I was like, just trying to convince myself I don't miss. I'm not going to miss. Yeah, so I think I found the key to why I've been missing doubles and why I've not.
Yeah, 50% on the doubles in a game of that length as well got you over the line, and we saw what it meant to you as well, sink into the floor. You got to share that moment afterwards with your wife and kids as well. Just how special was that night, and adding your name to the list of PDC major winners?
Yeah, I think you see when I fell, it was relief, and thank God it's finally done. That's why, like, when I was going to run to my kids, and like, my legs just went. I didn't mean to go to the floor. It just happened. Like, everything, like the past couple of years, and obviously this year, especially with the finals, just come out of them, and it was like, finally it's done. Yeah, it happened. I was like, finally now I can settle down. All like you lot, like you journalists and everything, guys, like you've lost 8 major finals. You think you'll ever win one? So all your questions got bucketed up after the Grand Slam. It was happy now. Everyone can get off my back and leave me alone, and it just proved me right and proved everyone else wrong.
Definitely. We'll come back to some of them predictions in a moment, actually. And just going back to you starting out in darts, obviously, like many young kids dreaming of playing on the stage, and yourself, you've believed that you could win one of those major titles for a long time, probably longer than anyone else. What does it mean to you after all those years of practice, travelling, the sacrifices that go into it as well, to have lifted that title?
Just proves that if you don't quit and you never give up, as long as you give 100% while you're practicing, you give 100% on stage, then you can't do things half-hearted. You've got to do it full stop. And I've always done it. Every year I've improved. If I've not improved my dance, I've improved the mental side of it. I've improved not giving up on stage or dropping my head or showing emotion. I've been improving on different things year on year out. And I think this year I finally got most things clicked into one. It's just about finding a middle ground now, because I'm either really good at scoring and bad at doubles, or mediocre at scoring but amazing at doubles. It just needs to click now where I'm constantly good at both. And once I'm good at both, I know 100% I'll be world number one, best player in the world.
Well, one last one on the Grand Slam before we'll look ahead. And you said on Sky afterwards you got to the venue at 9:05 on that Sunday morning before your semi-final. And for you, Nathan, it was a first experience of playing in a Grand Slam final, the 2 long games in a day. Nathan said afterwards he was running on empty. Do you think the schedule should be looked at for the Grand Slam, the semi-finals, final maybe played on separate days?
I don't know, because like, even when I play Pro Tours, I get there for 9 o'clock. But you're only playing best of 11 there, and then obviously best of 15 in the final. You finish around about 6. So you have got a lot of time to sit and chill in between. But when I'd finished against Raymond, I think it was like 10-3 when I actually got upstairs, but then they had media to do. So it was around about 3:15 I finished. So I thought, if I go back to my hotel now, which is 40 minutes away, that's 4 o'clock. Yeah, my maths is bad here. That's 4 o'clock. And then if I got food, it's going to be around about half an hour before it comes out. So 20 minutes eating it. You're getting close to 5 now. I had to pull up again at 6. I had to be in the venue before 6. So if I would have left my hotel at 5, I would have only got there for 22, depending on traffic. So I was like, I can't go anywhere. So I just stayed in the venue. I got some food from downstairs, and I just sat there and I watched Nathan play his game. And yeah, I was almost falling asleep. Just trying to drunk a lot of Red Bull and water, just try to wake me up just about an hour and a half before the game. Literally, I had about 3 cans of Red Bull, and I think they started to kick in after the first session, because I started to wake up and my heart started pounding. I drunk that much, but yeah, I don't think it should be changed. But the only thing I think they should change about the Grand Slam is the way I finished first and Joe Cullen finished second in the group, and then we met again in the quarter-final. No other sport you play each other from the group. So I think it's like a final in it or something like that. You don't meet again. I think that's the only thing that needs changing in the Grand Slam.
Well, you might be getting a sponsorship with Red Bull, considering you've mentioned them there. Off the board, obviously, there's always a team behind a player, and you've been with Darting Promotions for a few years now, Unicorn much longer than that. What has their support meant to you, and how much has it helped you on the run that you've had this year?
Yeah, from Unicorn, I get messages from like Edward and Richard, and obviously Matt Rankin and stuff, like just wishing me all the best and that. But yeah, Pritch, Darting Promotion, Mark, he's been a godsend really. He does everything for me. Literally, if I tell him to I'm going to toilet, can you come and fight me backside? He would. Like, he's literally, everything is done. Like, I need this pain, I need this doing. Can you sort me car insurance out? Can you sort me MOT? It's not just darts, he's actually looked after me life as well, really. He's been unreal, and like, I have my dad working for me now, so he drives for me. So literally, I only have to, well, in the past, I've had to do everything myself, like book my flights, book hotels, drive myself, and yeah, now I turn up to events. I'm like, I ask my dad, where's my darts? Because he's got all of my darts. I'm really there to actually play darts now and throw darts. So I think I finally got a perfect team behind me. And yeah, I think it's helped massively lately.
Happy days. Well, when we last had you on the show, you were chatting with my co-host Burton, and he mentioned our two predictions for the year. I said that you'd win one major this year. Burton said that you'd win two, and your response was, I think, a bit tongue-in-cheek, that we were both wrong and that you'd win three. And okay, we've only got the World Championship left now, but who's going to be right? Is it going to be me saying one, or is it going to be Burton saying two?
If you count the US, it'd be me with three. Hopefully, I always say in every interview, I just want to turn up to any event and compete. I'm not Van Gogh, I'm not Peter Wright. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, you're not good enough, I'm going to smash you off the board, I'm going to do this. I'm just there to compete, and we all know if I'm there competing and I'm playing at a really good level, I'll be in the final. And yeah, as long as I'm competing, I'm happy. So I won't say I'm going to do this and that. I'll be competing, I'll be there having fun.
That's fair enough. Well, yeah, all eyes are now on Ali Pali, the World Championship just 2 weeks away now, but one player who's not going to be there is your good friend Ian White. How surprised were you to see him miss out, and do you think he can bounce back next year?
Yeah, I'm gutted he's not there. He's like, I'm with him virtually every day practicing. I've not been with him for the last 3 weeks though, obviously with the Grand Slam and the players. But yeah, he'll bounce back, he always does. Like, every setback is always a comeback, so I hope he does, as long as he keeps practicing with me, or if he chooses practice on his own, he'll come back, no doubt.
And lastly, before we let you go, we saw that you tweeted last night a picture of one of your boys holding the World Cup, and that he knows where it's coming. So is football coming home?
I hope so, yeah. We've got two chances. We're 1-1 tonight. We've got England or Poland. So hopefully one of them brings it.
Well, Michael, always a pleasure to chat. We appreciate your time, and congratulations on winning that first major title, and we wish you all the best for the World Championship when it comes around as well.
You're welcome, mate. Thank you.